able to keep ourselves in the game for quite a number of minutes. We will end up maybe getting a draw, but I still tip Liverpool.
Well, you saw that video that introduced the podcast. That was me on Super Sports Blitz. Someone told me that if I had been bold enough to declare that we will win, probably we would have won the game. I felt, yes, Liverpool were favourites to win the game, but I felt if we had kept ourselves in the game for quite a little bit of time, we would give ourselves a chance. And that's exactly what we did. So I gave conditions for a draw. Although I tipped Liverpool to win, I gave conditions for a draw. They met the conditions. We could have won that game with that last-minute kick from Harry Maguire. There was a controversy. Some claim it was an offside and all of that, but it should have gone into the net for VAR to rule it out. At least we knew that we would have, tried something. But welcome to United and Everything Football Podcast. My name is Kwame. I'm here with Kwame Inchigwesiaku here to record our second 2025 video with United playing against Liverpool. Well, in a game that we drew at Anfield. Who would have thought that we would go to Anfield on the back of this poor run of form to go on and put in this amazing performance and get a 2-2 draw? Let me give you some fun facts. The last time United scored a goal at Anfield, Kobe Mainoo was 13 years old. Yes, 13 years old. Now he's a teenager playing in the game at Anfield. Kwame, once again, welcome to United and Everything Football. Great to have you. Why?
A pleasant surprise of a performance and a result. And I'll get into why. I'm sure you know why. Let's get into why. Let's start off with
let me make a quick.
No one was looking forward to the game.
Okay. Let me make a quick turnaround. When I come back, remember, hit the subscribe button.
Okay.
Hit the notification bell. If this is new, we know when you hear performances like this, you come. So since we've attracted you, let me campaign. Subscribe if you have not. Share with your friends if you have not. Slash or slap that like button. And also give us your comment. We appreciate all the comment that you give to us. We really appreciate it. We really do. So keep them coming here on United and Everything Football Podcast. Let's make a quick turnaround. When I come back, we delve into the game. All right, thank you very much. Kwame is itching to talk to United and Everything Football.
Oh, itching.
Kwame, let's hear you. A surprise of a performance. Let me hear you.
A pleasant surprise of a performance. But we always have to start from the beginning, even before the game.
Yeah.
24 hours before the game, actually. There was a weather forecast, a report, an interesting report. It's been snowing in Germany, but apparently it's been snowing in England as well, especially in the northeast side of Germany, of England, sorry. And we had a very interesting weather forecast, predicting that there will be a lot of snow and ice, and that it's possible the game will be called off. And the commentary amongst the United fans was, "Oh God, saving grace. God has saved us. The game is not going to come up." And we heard that there will be a deliberation over it by the Liverpool Council the next morning. So throughout the whole night, I'm sure there were a lot of fans who were fasting and praying that this is a sign that God is on our side.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, the snow did start, but it stopped. It stopped pretty early. It started melting. roads were clear.
A decision was made.
The sky was clear. Outfield pitch was clear. And the decision was made that the game is going to happen. United fans were in despair. I'm giving this melodramatic intro because you need to grasp the full the full detail of how our day went. It was torture from the very end, but by the end of the game, most of us felt, good Lord, we should have won that football game like you've described.
Yeah.
So the lineup comes out. Let's get to the game. The lineup comes out, and finally, let's just say, for what most of us have been crying out for, a consistent lineup.
Yeah.
Right? In the last game, we saw a lineup similar to this one. It shows that finally, after that hectic December schedule, the coach has finally settled on a starting 11, right? It may not be the strongest starting 11 on paper, but at least it's a starting point. He has a team now. Enough of the chopping and change. It got to a point it was really eating me up. You could tell from 2 or 3 podcasts ago, I went on a rant because I just could not understand why you cannot find a team. It's not like you're picking from a group of.
I remember I kept explaining to you. I kept explaining to you the rationale behind that, but you were not having it at some point. You got tired of it.
I was not having it because I felt that when it gets to this point where you have a consistent team, we can expect better performances.
Yeah.
If not necessarily results. Yeah. So at the end of the day, one would say you pick and choose whether he was right to have done so or not. We're not winning football games. So everybody had a right to have something to say about it. But interestingly enough, he made comments before the game suggesting that he has come to this conclusion because he now understands his players, he knows his players, and we had a 4 weeks of training, right, leading up to the game. So he expected us to be able to put in a performance of character at Anfield, put aside our anxiety and our fear and our nervousness and the thought that we've gone through a very bad spell and go to Anfield and show that we can put in a performance. It was a starting 11 of Onana in goal, of course, whom I thought was superb today. It goes under the radar when he performs like this because people think that's what he's supposed to do on every normal basis. It was Matthias de Ligt at right centre back, Harry Maguire, immense, except for the fact that he should have won us the game. At central centre back, Lisandro Martinez scored a scorcher at left centre back. Many fans were saying Lisandro should be dropped because of his recent performances, but we've explained why. Now, people should watch our previous podcast.
Yes.
Watch it, subscribe to the channel because we give a lot of information. We speak about a lot of things that sort of come to pass, you know.
Yes.
Lisandro Martinez is struggling because of the system. He's not necessarily accustomed to it, but he played very well today. And Diogo Dalot probably had his best game under Amorim today, playing as the left wing back. In the center of the park, he brought back our first choice duo. Now we have to just accept it. That's our first choice duo. And there was no other midfield to turn to, except if we have to drop Bruno Fernandes in the center of the park for me. Meanwhile, Ugarte is irreplaceable. Irreplaceable in this lineup. And a front three of Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo, and Rasmus Højlund. On paper, it's shaped up to be a 3-4-2-1, right? But like we discussed very early on when Amorim took over, that the system isn't fixed. It varies depending on the game and then the opposition. Because the more you watch that game, it was a variance between a 5-4-1 and very often a variant between a 5-2-3 in attacking phases. Let me put it that way. 5-2-3 in attacking phases. But when we were defending and were compact, it often looked like a 5-4-1. What you could see was Amad Diallo and Bruno Fernandes dropping into midfield, leaving Rasmus Højlund up front alone to outnumber the Liverpool midfield and block the spaces. So you just didn't see people running through our midfield easily. What you could see on occasions were Menu losing out on duels, of which we've explained why. The reps,
athleticism, no form.
It's not there. It's not there. It's not there. That's the problem. He's a kid. It's not there yet. But Ugarte held his own. Bruno Fernandes, I think, was superb today all throughout the football game. Very good. Amad Diallo also did hold his own in the midfield. The only problem with Amad Diallo is, you know, he likes to attack from wide areas, but the ball wasn't going wide very often, right? Let's not make it look like Liverpool didn't have their chances in that first half. Mo Salah had a very good shot. Onana saved that. But we had 2 glaring opportunities in that first half of which we should have taken the lead. Dalot's ball across the face of goal for Amad Diallo should have gone in the back of the net. One would say, was it a bad cross or was it poor movement by Amad Diallo? Should he have held his run a little bit in anticipating of the kind of cross that was coming in? Because I've seen fans say put in a low cross, but I feel if he had put in a low cross, it would have been intercepted. But the Liverpool defender was not far off Amad Diallo.
Exactly.
I felt, in my opinion, Amad Diallo should have held his run a little bit.
I agree with you. I don't know if you saw my argument with Endinkra prior to that, where he was sort of blaming Dalot for the way he put it.
And I totally agree with you. See, that is where you have a slight dig at Amad Diallo in the sense that that expectation of that quality at this level isn't always there. He can give you what he's giving you now. But let's be honest, we need more.
Absolutely.
We need more than what Amad Diallo offers us. But he's one of the bright spots in our attacking game right now, and wholeheartedly deserves to be starting it. We've been saying it from the start of the season because we lack so much quality up front that if you're a player like that is in form, you should be playing him. It goes back to Ten Hag. I hate to do this, but I just can't seem to still think about why he wants him.
The thing is, it is the easiest thing to do because there is an immediate person that you have to compare
exactly.
to. That's exactly
it didn't make any sense, actually.
Yeah.
But then when the gods want to disgrace you, they first of all drive you mad. So you start making mad decisions. That's why I lost it. Playing as Rory as a 10, good Lord. Back to the game. I want to talk about Rasmus Højlund. I don't want to sound hypercritical of Rasmus Højlund, but Manchester United deserves better.
We deserve better.
Right? Last season against Liverpool, he had a very good chance in that second half, a one-on-one on the right-hand side this time, in a very similar position, which I felt he should have buried and won us the game. This season, a ball goes over the top. You are right through on goal, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Right? And he just smashes the ball at the goalkeeper. There are fans who make arguments for him because he is our best number 9. If this is our best, then we have a problem. That, he's not giving service. If you're bought for £70 million to play as the number 9 for Manchester United, for the strikers that I've known growing up playing for Manchester United, it's not just about putting the ball on a plate for them to tap in or head the ball into the goal. Sometimes they create chances on their own. But when they do have chances, especially in big games, they are often the deciding factor. I just opposed that against Liverpool. When they need someone to step up, whether Mo Salah is not playing well, he's not getting the chances, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, he would have an imprint on the football game. This season, Cody Gakpo is backing him up properly. At United, there is no one who is stepping up to be that consistent go-to guy for goals. You would expect that at least from your number 9. Kwame, let me ask you this question. Has Rasmus Højlund decided any big game since he came to Manchester United against any top 6 side? Not
any that I think of.
He scored in a couple of them, probably against Spurs or probably someone else. He's not even scored that many in big games. But he's not
scored against City.
He's not decided any of these games.
He's not decided any of the games.
He's not doing anything on his own to win us these games. And I put a lot of it, not just down to the fact that we are not finding him. It makes it difficult for us to find him. And when we do find him on occasion, he's not clinical enough in front of goal.
Let me chip in something fun. You know, when the game was ongoing, I looked at the 2 big men at Liverpool's back. You see Konate, you see Van Dijk. Then you ask yourself, what is Rasmus Højlund going to do, wasting all his time wrestling with these guys? And that's exactly what he did. You see, and I told myself, all the best to him, fighting them and winning a single duel. He didn't even win one. There were moments where he has the ball. He will leave the ball to go and wrestle. I'm like, why is your first instinct?
It's intelligence.
Why your first instinct as a striker is to have hold of the ball, look for your teammate and do something. But why is it that you are going to wrestle a player, even when before receiving the ball, you are going to fight, and he lost all his duels? I don't even remember him winning.
Let me use one striker in the Premier League now who is on fire, right? Isaac of Newcastle. Let me remind you of his first game for Newcastle. It was at Anfield last season. He scored a goal from a very similar position that Rasmus Højlund missed his grand opportunity in the first half of the season. You know what he did? When his team is on the back foot, what he cleverly does is he doesn't stay in the middle of the park with the 2 center backs. What he does is he goes to stand out wide, but stays onside. There is often no center back close to him. It's just an intelligent sort of positioning. So that when he gets the ball, he gets to isolate one of the center backs because the 4 backs of the opposition team would have flown upwards. And all he can do is cut in, dribble, and then put the ball at the back of the net. His first goal for Newcastle was at Anfield. A ball was looped over the top to him at the center circle. He ran, cut in, I think it was Konate, did Konate in, and then smashed the ball into the back of the net. You have to be intelligent enough to recognize the fact that wrestling with these 2 monsters is an exercise in futility. It's not going to get
why does that have to even be in your head in the first place? Intelligence runs. Why is intelligence runs?
Kwame, it's a quality issue. See, fans should. We've watched United long enough. We've seen so many number nines over 2 decades to know what a proper Manchester United number 9 is. We fall in love with players easily. Maybe it's a new generation. Maybe it's fans, young fans who haven't seen great United strikers of the past. But don't fall in love with something that doesn't meet the standard of Manchester United. You should demand for more. You should ask for more. You should want more. Of the 2 strikers that we have, none of them should be starting games for Manchester United. And this is, call it a slight. I don't even mind if we call it a slight at this point in time, but United needs goals. Our top goal scorer in the league, I hate to do this, but I have to still do it, has 4 goals for Manchester United. And he hasn't played the last 5 or 6 games, league games for Manchester United. Yet, 4 goals, 4. 4 goals.
No one has been able to be able to beat him.
No one. That's just pathetic, in my opinion. In as much as we gave Amorim credit for the way we have been playing in big games, because I feel like against Arsenal, we played well. Against City, we won. We played well. Today, we've played well. But it's United should be performing like this week in, week out. But you ask yourself, what we have, is it good enough to perform week in, week out? That is where I think this coach needs help in the market to be able to do what he wants to do. And an opportunity presents itself. We are right in the middle of the general transfer window. United should at least bring in a striker who will bring in goals to be able to win games. He talks about selling the idea, the concept. If we win games, the idea is sold. If we don't win games, it's difficult to sell the idea. You don't want us to go into the next game against Arsenal and get rolled over. Our next league game against Southampton, because that's what we seem to do, drop points against teams that are lowly and we are supposed to win. We seem to be dropping points. We're going to drop points against Ipswich, our relegation contenders. Against Southampton, you don't want us to go there and then drop Wolves. So you see, that's the problem, right? United should help this manager to sell his ideas by bringing in players who can play the system. And talking about players who can play the system, it's not just a striking position that's an issue. I think Menu struggled in midfield, especially in the first half, holding up the ball in challenges. He lost the ball on so many
50-50. He was losing a lot of duels. Yes.
50-50, that's the term.
Duels.
You need someone to be able to complement Manuel Ugarte in that midfield, because it is clear to us we don't want to go back to a midfield of Eriksen and Casemiro, especially in the Premier League. You can get away with it in probably a dead rubber Europa League game, but not in important games for the rest of the season. United have to bring in a body.
Yeah,
we have to sell Casemiro because he's of no use to us. That's the hard truth, and bring in a replacement. We have been relying on 2 wing backs all throughout the entirety of this season, and we can't even change them. I told you that Malacia is not going to play. I was making all sorts of points. The coach is making a statement, in my opinion, that a left wing back is an absolute priority for the system. You saw how well Diogo Dalot played today. Imagine somebody who is actually accustomed to playing as a left wing back, a left-footed left wing back in the system, and how well this person would do. There was this concept going out this week of how Inter Milan scored in the cup game against Napoli in Saudi Arabia, where you saw 2 of their wing backs combining very, very high on the counter-attack to literally bury Napoli. Dumfries scored the goal. If you remember,
I remember. There's one thing that, I mean, people talk about the wing backs, what they do the moment the team is in transition. The moment they get the ball, before you say Jack, they are high up.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Dumfries and then DiMarco did. And before you realize, DiMarco had crossed to Dumfries and then he smashes that ball into it. And that's exactly what you have to do. These players don't have that instinct to just...
Instinct, that's the word.
Instinct. Just bombard forward the moment they know. Because the moment, as a wing back, if you're a trained wing back, the moment you win the ball on transition, you know that quickly
what to do.
To switch. And that's one key thing I feel the players are not, getting.
In as much as we talk about training these boys and getting them to train on a football ground, profile-wise, we need to get the right fits.
Absolutely.
Don't do the square pegs in round holes thing. It doesn't work. That is why we are probably talking about these 3 key positions: the striking position, the central midfield position, and the wing-back position. We know it's a difficult window. Yeah. We know very often United don't typically sign players in this window. But even if you can bring in 1 or 2 players, right, by ruthlessly selling some players to make this happen or moving some players out to make this happen.
Yeah.
United cannot afford not to do that. We have to help the manager
Mm-hmm.
to be able to achieve it. The season, as you see it, league-wise may be lost, but cup-wise, that is not the situation, particularly in the Europa League. If we want to win the Europa League, we should strengthen our team so that we will be able to win that competition. Because winning that competition is absolutely key to us going for Champions League football, Champions League money, more money in the transfer market to be able to spend, to be able to completely overhaul the squad as we've spoken about already. Let's go to defense. I think the defense held up beautifully.
Maguire,
Beautifully.
9 over 10 from me.
Harry Maguire, 9 over 10 because he missed that chance. Otherwise,
It would have been
10.5
over 10. That was it. 10.5 over 10. But
Harry
I've taken
Maguire
my
is a man. He's taking 1.5. Harry Maguire is a man of men, because see, he's been through a lot. Let's be honest. He's been through hell. He's been through what most United players have been through. You scapegoats. I say it, we have to look for someone to blame. So every now and then we look for a scapegoat because we have to blame someone for our problems. And as our captain, he was scapegoated for a very long time. I think the best thing that happened to him was the captaincy being stripped for him. Many people may not agree, right? But I think that pressure of him being the leader of Manchester United, despite the fact that he had come from lowly Leicester, hadn't won anything, there were other big players coming to the club, Manchester United were not playing well. That pressure taken from him has helped him. But he has come back into the Amorim side and found a place because he's accustomed or a perfect fit for the system. This team also lacks leaders.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the captaincy was stripped from him, he's one of the most experienced players in the club. So, of course, captain Manchester United. He's captain England on so many occasions. So he's one of the few leaders in our team. And it's been a good week for him. Good week in the sense that he's had his contract extended. I was of the opinion that we should offer him a new contract on lower wages. But I think the club has gone with the easiest option, other than negotiate and risk losing him because negotiations can go in totally different ways. Next thing you know, he's signing a bossman this week because he's entitled to speak to any club he wants this week. So I think the club just took the easiest route and extended his £190,000 a week contracts by one more year. Right? I think all we are doing is just buying time because I don't think we can sign 10, 11, 12 players.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
We can't overhaul our defense because I even feel our central defense is not really our biggest problem, except for the fact that we have to sign a left-footed centre back to displace, not just compete with, displace Martinez, despite his heroics today in the second half. The defense held up until halftime, but then we felt, you know what? At halftime, I was thinking this feels like Arsenal all over again. We've had a very good half. And then Liverpool are just going to roll us over. That's not what happened in the second half.
We actually showed up. That was when we actually showed up.
That's when we actually showed up because that second half was incredible. It was crazy. Trent Alexander-Arnold was being roasted all game. But in the second half, that boy had no place on the football pitch. For somebody who is touted as a player who's supposed to go to Madrid, if this is how he's going to play at Madrid, he's in trouble. Because that Madrid crowd is unforgiving. He should be able to defend better than he's defending. But today he defended like shit to our advantage. I absolutely love how he was roasted today and ultimately hooked off. He messed up on the left-hand side. Lisandro Martinez did well to win the ball up high. He got played in by a fantastic Bruno Fernandes, who did admit that his performances over the last few months or so has been awful. But this was one of his best games. And he should continue like this. He shouldn't let us come and sit here and throw him under the bus or talk him down because of how horrible the other horrible things he does as a captain. Because there are too many other horrible things he does. See, no one is questioning the fact that he's the best signing we've had post Alex Ferguson. He is, absolutely. What we have questioned is whether he should be the captain of this football club based on the fact he has excesses, and the excesses are sometimes unpalatable. I'm not the biggest fan of Vinicius Jr. For a lot of all those antics and stuff. The captain of Manchester United does all those other things. So I'm like, Vinicius Jr. is not even the captain at Real Madrid, right? But our captain,
it's putting up attitudes and behaviors like that.
Gets sent off. He's been sent off 3 times. How can your captain be sent off 3 times? When his team needs him most this season, that's when he's been sent off.
Exactly.
So he's not covered himself in glory. But today we saw the full glory of Bruno Fernandes. No ball. There was one time he even played a very good cross across the field, a ball across the field to go for Højlund in the first half. If Højlund's movement was to the near post, you see, I don't want to go back to Højlund because I think I'm done with him, but it's not really there. He's not really there. He was just not there. Second half, he played Martinez through on goal, and what a belter. Absolute belter into the top corner. That's what you should be seeing from your number 9.
Exactly.
That's Højlund again. That's what you should be seeing from your number 9. Absolute belt. Didn't give the keeper
smash it.
But then we knew after the goal that there was going to be a baptism of fire. Yeah. Every United fan kind of. And unfortunately, this team, character-wise, is still not there because I think we kind of panicked. And that panic was epitomized by one of the most experienced players at the back, despite his age, in Matthijs de Ligt. For Cody Gakpo's goal, I felt he should have stood on his feet just a little longer. Probably was anticipating a ball across the face of goal, but that did not happen. He got chopped, and then he slid off the park. He probably slipped all the way to Manchester.
Sorry, not to catch you, but what you put down to quality of Gakpo from that angle? I mean, you
can give the striker a lot of credit at the end of the day because it didn't come off a mistake. It came out of his own
ingenuity.
But then again, from a Manchester United point of view, you would think the defender could have done better, in my opinion. He could have done better.
I actually think the first mistake was playing him onside. Because there was a point for the team to push up so that the moment, because Liverpool are very good in the blocks, those areas where they're able to, run in through the channels. They are just hiding in between your blocks. And before you realize, they are running the channels.
One pops in, another ball is played.
Exactly. So that's where I felt we should have done better. But I get your point. Yeah. I actually get your point. Yeah.
It's 1-1, and you're asking yourself, Liverpool have gotten an equalizer kind of early. Because if we had hung on a little bit, you take a 1-1 and it's a draw. But there was like around the 60th minute, they had equalized. I was like, oh God, how do we survive? And we didn't survive for long. A ball gets played in the box, and the ball comes off someone, and it deflects off the hand of outstretched hand of Matthijs de Ligt. You talk about Murphy's Law. When one bad thing happens, then another bad thing follows the same player. All of a sudden, Matthijs de Ligt was looking like an enemy of football, trying to lose us the football game. It wasn't deliberate, but his hand was up. We've had those calls. United should have had penalties from such calls over the past couple of seasons. But I say to myself here, when you are bad, everything bad goes against you. It's easy to get decisions against you. When you are good, like Manchester City or Liverpool have been good, you often get a rub of the green from officials. Yeah. I don't want to get into the official. That's why I bring this up. Because Michael Oliver is a prat. He's a dickhead. I'm sorry for my French, but he's been bad when it comes to officiating Manchester United games. He's the prat who gave us that soft penalty in Eric Ten Hag's funeral, if you remember, against West Ham.
Yes.
That last minute, because in the VAR room.
Himself and David Coote. He called David Coote
the drug lord. EPL referees are so incompetent. They're doing drugs, they're probably gambling and doing all sorts of things. I wouldn't want to dig into the officials because of certain decisions that they're taking against them. But just put it down to, if you're good enough, decisions go your way. We get a penalty awarded against us. And guess who scores again? Mo Salah. Mo Salah just can't stop scoring against Manchester United. I can't wait to see the back of him. I need him to leave England at the end of the season. Liverpool can win the season, the league. They can do whatever they want. It's been long overdue anyway in trying to match up to Manchester United's number of titles won. But for Pep Guardiola, Liverpool would have probably surpassed us by now. So I'll live with it. 2020 number of titles, the Premier League titles, is no problem for me. It's inevitable, actually. I'm just glad they're not going to do it on our head. We've played our part in the title race by taking points off them. Mo Salah sticks the ball at the back of the net. Liverpool lead 2-1. And you ask yourself, is this going to be a disappointing defeat? United is going to lose painfully to Liverpool at Anfield despite the efforts. But it wasn't just, we didn't lie down. United actually responded. Surprisingly, we actually responded very well. Garnacho was brought on, and he did his bit on that wing to put in the cross. I think he scuffed the cross a bit, but by doing so, that helped us.
Yes.
Right? That helped us. Took a slight deflection, and an on-rushing Amad Diallo stuck the ball at the back of the net. I don't know whether he even hit it cleanly, but he hit it well enough to be able to easily trickling into the net, and then it was 2-2. And from then, interestingly enough, it looked like we could win it. It looked like any team could win it. Let's be fair to Liverpool.
It became chaotic. I mean, every team was having
it became basketball.
Basketball.
And it was fun. It was fun. I was like, this is what I see big teams do when they play against each other. They go for it. United, like, in big games over the past couple of seasons, have not been able to do that. It doesn't matter who are playing. Spurs, Arsenal. We just don't take the game to the opposition. We literally just pray for a result. And then we've had sporadic positive results here and there. But in those last 10 minutes, this was a United team that had gone to Anfield. Fans not expecting much. Opposition teams expecting us to get battered. And we're going for it. I was like, wow. We are actually going for this. Joshua Zirkzee was brought on, and he had a big part to play in what transpired at the very end of the game, where off the back of two good Liverpool chances from a set piece and a counter attack, we had probably the best chance of the lot in those last few minutes, where Joshua Zirkzee played in. And what will I say? I think his confidence is shot. I think normally any other number 9 doesn't even look left or right. He takes that shot on and goes for goal. But I'm saying to myself, at that point in time, I get it. I get it. I understand why he sets the ball up, coupled with the fact that instinctively that's what he does. He loves to set the ball up, rather. He's like typical 9.5, as they say. And the pass to Maguire at the end of the day probably bubbled a bit. Probably should have been laid right on the carpet. But nonetheless, Maguire should be putting that ball on target. I believe if that ball is placed on target, it's a goal. I just wish there was an offensive player who was at the end of that opportunity. But ask yourself, what's Maguire even doing there in the first place? That's what tells you how desperate we were to win that game at that particular point in time, rather than just sit back hoping for a result. Because there was a set piece, Maguire got at the back of a header. He should probably have even headed the ball and scored then. But he stayed up front. Like he knew we were going to win the ball back and we're probably going to get a chance. And that just epitomized a very good mentality all throughout the football game. Game disappointingly ends in a 2-2 draw. Who would have thought disappointingly ends in a 2-2 draw? And we are left reeling at fans thinking what could have been, what should have been, because we haven't won at Anfield since 2016. It's been 9 years. So a 2-2 result. 2-2. And now the question is, what next? We can't even get excited about this because we've not won back-to-back league games this season, I think. I don't think we've won back-to-back games under Amorim just once. We've lost too many games. And we have to get back on the winning trail. Our next game is a cup game against Arsenal. And you don't want a setback like the one that we had against Spurs, where we have off the back of a good league result. Because this is a good result. It takes us further away from relegation. But sadly, further away from relegation. But then you would want us to be able to follow up with another good result rather than what happened against Spurs and then we've not been able to win again since. United should be able to show some level of consistency in 2025. You remember last year, 2024, when we started the year, the previous year was so bad, and I said to you, you know what, 2024 is going to be a great year.
And then we started winning games. I remember.
We tapered off again. So now I'm going to predict again. Here we go. That's what Kwame does. 2025 is going to be a fantastic year for Manchester United. And we're going to finish the league strong and we're going to win a cup competition. So yeah, let's just hope 2025 brings us better tidings. Tidings.
Let's just hope. Thank you very much, Kwame. It's been great. It's been fun recording this. I'm sure you listening feel a lot better because we had to stop the rot at some point. I mean, losing 4 games on a spin was something. I mean, we're moving into Manchester City territories.
I know. We're not even out of the woods yet.
We're not even out because we are going to the Emirates for the FA Cup. Something we'll be discussing midweek when we come back here on this podcast. Thank you for being a part of the podcast as usual. We hope you enjoy listening to it and everything that we've shared today. Thank you. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, like, share the videos with your friends. And also, yes, share. Let the people have it. All right, it's very, very important. Let other people know of us. You have discovered something good. You are only sitting on it. Is it good? Is it good? Share it. Let other people enjoy it. Let them enjoy the podcast. All right, other United fans that please share it with them. It's so important. All right, so Kwame, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next one in the course of the week, where we probably get a guest in here and talk about the game against Arsenal. It's the FA Cup. Can we be able to defend it? We'll talk about that. Probably a lot of news would have come up. We'll be hoping that the transfer gets a bit more good for us.
The transfer, something should happen.
Something so that we have something to report to you or something to discuss on it.
A boost.
Have a great time. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.